Chris basically looked exactly like this now. Like he was the same exact height. The only difference is when he was 11, he had more facial hair than he does now. I remember talking to Bobby and I would be like, who is this kid, Chris Spattarella? He's like 6 feet tall and he has a mustache. I was like, how am I supposed to bitch to this kid? He was very intimidating. But in all honesty, Chris, I just have to mention this. He hit the best home run you could ever hit in the history of baseball. We were playing like our biggest rival, West Hempstead, and it was a huge tournament, like 16 teams. And Chris came up with the bases loaded. We were losing by 1 run, right? It was 2 outs. Chris came up and he hit like the best home run you could possibly imagine. He just crushed this ball. So that was good. But Chris and I, like, we played baseball against each other. We never really talked or became friends because we were on different teams. But then we played on the tournament team that same year. And we started to hang out. And for like 2 years, we had like the strangest friendship you could ever have because we only saw each other during the summer. And during the summer, we would hang out every single day during the summer, literally 7 days a week. And then for 10 months, when we went to different schools, we would never see each other, never speak to each other, nothing. And so I'd see him the next year, like 10 months later, and I'd be like, oh, what's going on? That was the last 10 months. Like, I haven't seen you or spoken to you. There were no cell phones or emails, obviously, at that point. And we would sit, literally, what we would do is we would sit in Chris's basement. There was like a table there, there was a TV, there was a Sega Genesis, and we would just literally just play video games. We would play Madden, we would play NHL hockey all day, and then we would watch the same movies over and over and over again. It was ridiculous. We watched Three Amigos, Spaceballs, and Necessary Roughness. I mean, those are obviously all nominated for Best Picture. They were all great movies. But literally, if you put those movies on now, Chris and I could recite every single line, especially famous, hey, it's a sweater! You've probably heard that about 15 times this weekend. Or, es menos guapo. He's not just famous, he is infamous. More than famous. Or the other popular, this could be the biggest crowd we draw all year. Obviously, Chris and I are probably the only people who think that's funny. And judging by the reaction, it's probably true. But then we started to actually like hang out like every day when Chris we went to the same high school together. And it was at that point we started obviously making fun of Chris and calling him alternative. And that's what we call him to this day. This is very alternative. Like, he can't do something normally like everyone else. He does it a little differently, so he's alternative. Like, for example, being alternative, like, would be getting married in the Dominican Republic with linen pants, a linen shirt, and flip-flops. That's something that's alternative that Chris does. You know, when Chris said, I'm going to get married in the Dominican Republic, I said to myself, what the hell is this kid getting married in the Dominican Republic for? Then I realized Chris is alternative, so it fit right in. Then I also realized there's a casino on the premises, and so he could bet 20 in roulette and lose all his money, and it was a win-win situation for him. How am I doing on time? Am I all right? Yeah. Okay. I have 10 minutes. If anybody, I'm going to be here all weekend. If anyone wants to hear embarrassing stories about Chris, I can go on and on and on, but I have a time limit here, so I'm going to try to make this brief. Chris and Melissa, they're a great couple, all right? Am I right? Yeah. When Chris said, you know, you're going to be my best man, and obviously I was going to give a speech at the wedding, Melissa said, listen, whatever you do not tell this one story. It's really embarrassing. So obviously, as soon as she said that, it went right into the speech. Chris and Melissa were dating for like 2 weeks, and Chris came up to me in a bar, just completely randomly, came up to me and was like, didn't I used to fight in the UFC? Wasn't I like a mixed martial artist fighter? And Melissa was like sitting there like, and obviously we didn't talk about this at all, but I caught right on. I was like, yeah, obviously, why? You didn't even know that? Melissa, you didn't even know he was a mixed martial arts fighter? For like a half hour, we talked about, you know, Chris's fights, the fights that he had, you know, what his parents thought about him fighting. And Melissa, you know, being the cynical person, New York, street smart, she believed every second of it. Then after like 30 minutes, I was like, all right, we have to tell her we were just making it up, like it is completely untrue. She was a little upset. No, but in all seriousness, I said earlier, I know Chris since he was, you know, since we were 10 years old. he's the nicest, most good-hearted person you could ever meet in your life. He never has a bad word to say about anyone. He's just a great guy. He really is. And Melissa's a great girl too. They're really a perfect couple because Melissa tells Chris what to do and he does it. That's really the best thing you can really imagine. So we could just raise our glasses. Chris and Melissa, congratulations. Long, happy, healthy life. Salute.
Salute.
That wasn't bad on time.
That was only like
Go.
I really think when he was at your Christmas dinner, it was so funny.
It was so good though.